Okay, so we're going to move into what we call the flow chart. It's a proof. Given something, I had to prove something else. Okay, so given the triangle ABC is isosceles, where AC is congruent to BC, and CD is the bisector of angle C, show that triangle ADC is congruent to triangle BDC. Okay, so let's see. Let me work this out. How can we see this picture? If we can make it visual, that's going to help us out. So I know CD is the bisector of C. So there's CD. And then one triangle is the triangles ABC. So I want to say it here. There's ABC. You guys see the big triangle. And then I have that AC is equal to BC. And CD is the bisector of angle C. Okay, so CD, bisector. Bisector means to cut in half. So I'm going to say this angle is equal to this angle. All right, so let's see things that we have. I'm going to create my flow chart. Now for your homework, I'm going to create it. It's going to look something like this for your homework. I'm going to give you guys the flow chart. In the box, I'm going to say a statement. Under the box, I'm going to say why that statement is true. Okay, for example, I always start with the given stuff. What do I know about this thing? So I'm going to say the segment AC is congruent to the segment CB. I'm going to say that that is true. In a minute, I'm going to say why. I'm also going to say that angle ACD is congruent to angle BCD. And then I'm also going to say that side CD is congruent to side CD. Okay, so this is I'm gonna write these things down. Now, under each of these, I have to say, why is that true? Okay, so let's take a look. That statement looks very, AC is congruent to CB, right? BC, CB is the same side. Now that was given, so I'm gonna say my reason, let me write it at the bottom. The reason why I said it's true, it's because it was given. Now the other statement, angle ACD, which is basically this angle, let me color it in red, is congruent to angle BCD, which is this angle. Now, that statement is not quite given, because look at where it says given. Try to find that statement. You cannot find it. However, I was able to mark it earlier because I said the CD was the bisector of angle C. So I'm going to call this definition of angle bisector. When I say a rule, like CD is the bisector of angle C, so the bisector of an angle, when I use a rule and I use a definition of what the rule means, the reason why I use the definition, I'm going to call it definition of angle bisector. Now, my last statement here, CD is congruent to CD. Right? People can say, well, it's the same. CD is CD, the same side. Well, we don't call it the same side. We call this reflexive theorem. Theorem is the rule that the word that we use in geometry for rule. Okay. As a matter of fact, now let me mark this right here. this side in the middle. Now, I'm going to use these three statements, right? Because I already marked it. I'm going to use them. I'm going to combine it into one thing, the one thing I'm trying to prove. Because I'm trying to prove that triangle ADC is congruent to triangle BDC. Let's take a look at the pictures here. Let me shade one triangle in yellow. And let me shade the other triangle in green. Now, why are those two triangles congruent? We talked about congruency, triangle congruency last week. Remember, like side, 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 angle, side, angle, HL. Remember all those rules? Now, look at each of my triangles, the yellow one and the green one. Look at what it's marked. Each triangle has two sides marked and the included angle. So two sides and the angle in between. So the reason why I'm going to write two sides and the angle in between, side, angle, side. That's it. I proved it. Now on your homework, how are you going to be answering this? I'm going to complete the statement. I'm going to complete the flow chart for you guys. Okay, I'm going to complete the flow chart. I might even give you the picture. Now, each of my reasons, when I say each of my reasons, I'm talking about these reasons, what I have in red. Each of these reasons is going to be, they're going to be numbered, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They're going to be numbered. And each of the questions I'm going to say, give me the reason 1, give me reason 2, give me reason 3 or 4 or 5, right? Whichever reason I need. Again, the reasons are going to be numbered. You tell me what's the reason that goes there. All right, let's do another example. Given the triangle REC and RAC sharing side RC. Okay, so let's see this. There's the side RC. There's two triangles that shared the side RC. One triangle is called REC. So as a matter of fact, let me go here. You guys see my triangle REC. And the other triangles are AC. Now you guys see it, right? Triangle REC and triangle RAC sharing RC. EC is congruent to AC. So the side EC is congruent to AC. I'm looking at what is given, everything that is given. And then I also have that ER is congruent to AR, this side. I need to show that angle E is equal to angle A. Okay, so let me complete this. Let me start with a few things. One thing I'm gonna say is RC, the side RC, is congruent to the side RC. It's a statement that I'm gonna give you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna start the flow chart. Another statement that I'm gonna write is EC, the side EC, is congruent to the side AC. And as a matter of fact, I'm even going to write a third statement, and I'm going to say the side ER is congruent to the side RA. I gave you statements. You got to tell me why they're true. Okay, so under each of my boxes. Now, I like to look at what is given. The side RC is congruent to the side RC. I don't see it anywhere, but it's the same side, right? RC equals RC. Remember I said that one we called reflexive theorem? reflexive theorem. Okay. Now the next statement is EC, the side EC is congruent to AC. I've seen that before. EC is congruent to side AC. All this is given. Okay, so let me write given. Now notice my first letter always is capital. Okay, let's take a look at my last statement here. ER, that's an E. ER is congruent to RA. Think I've seen that before. So I'm gonna say this is also given. And interesting, these things are going to connect into one statement. And then the statement, let me write a statement here for you guys. Let's say triangle I'm gonna say triangle ERC is congruent to triangle ARC. Now let me take a look. The triangle ERC is this triangle. Triangle ARC is this triangle. Every time I say two triangles are congruent, I'm thinking of side, 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 angle, side, all those things. I have RC equals RC, right? So why is the yellow triangle equal to the green triangle? I'm thinking of side, 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 angle, side, like all those rules. I see the three sides of one triangle, of the green triangle, and the three sides of the yellow triangle are marked. The three sides of each triangle are marked. So that's easy. This has to be because of side, side, side. Now, I'm almost done. Have to say why angle E is equal to angle A. So this is going to expand a little bit more. Then I'm going to say angle E is congruent to angle A. Cool thing we learned last week, right? That as soon as I say one triangle, if you notice, angle E is the first letter from this triangle, right? And then A is the first letter of this other triangle. Didn't I say something about that as soon as I say two triangles are congruent, think about what I said last week. Didn't I say when two triangles are congruent, corresponding angles and corresponding sides are congruent? So I'm going to answer this as corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. That's my answer. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. As soon as I say one triangle is congruent to the other triangle, I can say one angle of one triangle is congruent to the other angle of another triangle, right? I can say something about angles. I can say something about sides. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So again, your homework, I'm gonna write the charts already, the flow charts, I'm gonna write them. I'm just gonna number some, not all. I'm gonna number some of my recents. So I'm gonna ask you to complete each of my recents. Now notice on the recents, right? Those things under the boxes. The first letter of all of them, if you notice, is a capital letter. So make sure you capitalize the first letter. When you're using congruent statements, like side, 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 angle, side, all those, capitalize the letters. And if you happen to use corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, CPCTC, make sure you capitalize those letters as well.